Oh, it's a painting?
It almost looks like doesn't it look like a digital, like a digital photograph blown up? That's what I first thought.
Yeah.
People are starting to paint what digital images look like.
Of course. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You know what I mean? So as they're painting what they're seeing, but it's so weird because you're thinking, why would you paint something that's degraded that way, you know?
But this is scary, kind of, this thing. It's like a wall of blood. I wouldn't have it in my room. The most important thing for me is like craftsmanship. You know, if it doesn't have craftsmanship to start with, because craftsmanship is like the foundation, and then the art for me starts where the craftsmanship ends.
Well, this is always the problem I had with alternative music or independent music was poor playing being put across as part of the aesthetic. That, in essence, poor playing was a justification unto itself, and that it'd sort of cover the sins of a good idea.
That was with grunge in the beginning.
Yeah.
A lot of them couldn't play,
and still couldn't. Yeah. In fact, I mean, this is the thing with the new bands. A lot of them still can't play. They're using the computers to hide their bad playing.
That's what set your band apart, because you had a drummer who could really play, guitar player who could really play, and everything. You actually were playing.
Right. Well, I was raised in a time where musicianship was really valued, and because my father was a musician, he really hammered on me, if you can't play. His point to me was, if you can't play, if you think of something, you won't be able to do it.
One more?
I think there's one more room. This is me in 30 years.
I don't think so.
Staring off into my loneliness.
Oh, I like this one. It's very unusual. Look, there's a beekeeper there. Oh, he keeps the hummingbirds as bees. I love hummingbirds. We don't have them in Europe, you know, but I just love it. You know, they're beautiful animals.
I have a boy cat, you know, and one of my favorite memories of my boy cat is he was staring out the window and a hummingbird came right in front of him. You know, he was through a screen, but
all right.
he was, because he'd never seen anything like it, and it just stood there and went, and he was totally overwhelmed by the hummingbird. You know?
What's his name?
Mr. Tom.
Mr. Tom.
Mr. Tom.
Okay. Mine is called Lionheart.
Lionheart.
Lionheart. These paintings are kind of scary, but I think they're really good, you know, because the guy says something, well, which is really makes you think, if you want to think.
I don't want to be
that way.
depressed anymore.
Okay.
I don't mean now, I mean just in general, you know. I've seen enough horror for one life.
You've always wanted to be in a reality TV show. So how was the leg of the tour, the last leg?
It's been really up and down.
Up and down.
Yeah, like
it's always like
our
that.
German tour is disaster.
Wow.
Just disaster.
I saw you at like huge places. And
yeah, empty.
I mean, but nobody.
Empty.
Yeah, but nobody can do that nowadays. Nobody. You know.
Yeah.
Don't know why they did that.
I don't know either. We did like 12,000 in Paris, and we did 16,000 in London. So I can't complain about the big places, but
that's really good. I also feel one gets, if one is like on a roll and you play to full houses or so, you get kind of accustomed to it, and it spoils you. Then suddenly you have a little wake-up call, you know, and it's, it's really difficult not to become petulant.
I like to be spoiled.
Yeah.
I want to be spoiled. I wasn't spoiled when I was little. I want to be spoiled now. It's
confession time again.
Yeah, I want to be spoiled.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Life's hard enough as it is, you know? Just want to be spoiled. All the time.
All the time?
Yeah, sure.
You think it's good for your soul?
I don't care anymore. I'm willing to go to hell. I just want to be spoiled.
was it like touring with the first Pumpkins incarnation?
Oh, totally chaos. The great difficulty was we were coming from the indie alternative world where playing great was not really stressed. And on our first album, the producer said, look, you have 2 people in this band who can play and 2 people who can't. Now, if I try to make the album with the 4 people, it's going to sound terrible. So he asked me to play all the music. And so he went to the other band members, James and Darcy, and he said, look, I want Billy to play all these parts because it's going to sound terrible if you do. And they said, oh, that's fine. We don't have a problem with that. And they really didn't have a problem with it until people started finding out. And then that bothered them because they felt publicly embarrassed by it. So what they started doing was making it seem to people around us that I wasn't letting them play. So this created a perception of me as being some sort of tyrant, you know, cruel person. And I would say, well, you can't have it both ways. You can't take the money. You know what I mean? If I'm such a bad person, then you should leave. And they say, well, no, I want to make the money. I want this. You know, so I'd say, well, you can't have it both ways. And this was the seeds of destruction. That band couldn't survive in this day and age. Because
you can't afford that nowadays.
You can't afford the YouTube moment. You can't afford the car crash. You can't afford people ending up in rehab. It's just you can't do it. It's too much of a business, and you know, for every Amy Winehouse and everybody gets sort of fascinated by their troubles and travails, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that really aren't that dramatic or poetic, and end up just being more tragic.
Luckily, we never had that problem in the band, and like in Scorpions, we never had any clashes over songs, who wrote what, so it was always amicable. In fact, we never even argued. We did have different opinions about music or so, but when it came to choosing the bits and pieces for the album, it was always actually very easy. Nobody felt like, oh, I have to push my thing, you know, because we're going to the Fight Club for wrestling. So tell me about your wrestling. I wasn't aware of that.
Somewhere along the late 90s, I became fascinated with the characters and this idea that these grown men go out there and pretend to beat each other up, you know?
It's a pleasure for me to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Nice. Haben Sie für dich schon mal sowas gesehen?
Ich habe 3 Jahre lang Wing Chun gemacht.
Ja,
und zwar ziemlich ernsthaft.
Cool.
Aber das ist schon längere Zeit her. Ich habe das schon so ein bisschen im Blut.
Ja,
So how long have you had the school?
2 years now.
Oh, nice. Fantastic.
Started in a little gym.
So you work for Stampede then?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I worked.
I'll have to tell Maddie it's cool.
Yeah. It's great school. Great worker.
Yeah.
I worked for Bruce Hart.
Ah, yeah.
And Keith is a good friend of mine.
Oh,
Bruce
okay.
Hart,
Okay.
nice
Fantastic.
guys. You know Rhino Richards?
Oh, yeah, I know Rhino.
I worked so many times with him when he was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in Germany here, because in Germany.
Oh, he's big in Germany, right?
Yeah. He married a German girl, I think.
Yeah, but they.
Yeah. You know everything. No?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Big wrestling mark.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
See, what you'd find interesting is the guys are trained, and please correct me if I'm saying it wrong, the guys are trained to work an adaptable style so that guys who've never worked together can work together, almost like musicians who can jam. Like you have to know certain sort of structures, and then once they know the structures, then anybody can work with anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's like do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent.
You want to try?
No.
Just take a few bumps or something?
No, I did an angle in ECW.
Really?
You can see it on YouTube.
Well,